Welcome to Sweven Technologies, your CRM powerhouse. First up, we're going to be talking about contacts on this video. This is the heart of your connections. You're going to be able to manage essential information, add custom fields, and even filter information based on what you want to look for. You can even add tags to some of these contacts to spot opportunities and behaviors effortlessly. To get to the contact section, you're going to go to the left menu and click on contact. Usually when you log into your CRM account, you're going to be going into dashboard and immediately into contacts. And right now what we have is a few test contacts that we can kind of go over to understand the full potential of this section. And what you see here is just a list of them, which is going to be similar to what you will have. The type of information that's displayed on this list is something that you can predetermine or select yourself by going into columns and selecting which columns you want to hide and what you want to add. So you can get a quick glance at your contacts from the screen. So I can, remove last activity, and I can potentially put, the last notes that I have for these contacts, so I can kind of see what the status is with them at the moment. And then you can add contacts either by importing a bulk list right here on this action, or we can add one by one by clicking here on add contact. And when you add one by one, you have the ability to enter their logo, their photo, their name, their email, phone number, select what kind of contact it is. In our CRM, you're only going to have two types, which is a lead, a prospective customer, or a customer, right? And it's very important you select that because a lot of stuff can trigger in the back end once you have your workflows and campaigns going. You also want to select a time zone because when you send a message to these contacts, you want to make sure you send it in their time zone, especially if you have customers in the US, all over the US, or across the world. You want to be able to send the information on their specific time zone. And then you have the ability to also mute or select certain channels that you do not want to disturb them on, right? So if this person doesn't want to receive any calls from you, you want to make sure you select that from here. But once you add that contact, you can go into their details and you'll be able to just get more information about this contact as well as add more details about the contact. So you'll notice here you have the ability to add not only their phone number, but their contact source, their date of birth. You can reselect it from a lead to a customer or vice versa. You can add their business name as well, or you can add it as a company name as well. And if you do it as a company, it's going to create a separate list for companies. So that way you can have both of them in two different lists for future use. You'll also be able to predetermine custom fields, and you can do that through the settings, which we'll do that in a more thorough video. But the custom fields are things like, if you want to add a specific customer number or a lead number, you want to keep a track of those numbers, you can add those under custom fields, right? And we can label them however we want. You can add tags, you can add them to a campaign or a workflow, and even add them to a specific pipeline if you have multiple pipelines, and if you have one to a specific step. So if they're new, if you send a proposal, or if there are no shows or canceled, whatever the progress of that pipeline is, you can add them from here. And then on the middle section, you do have the ability to see the conversation that you've had with this contact, whether it's by SMS or email. On the right hand side, you'll be able to see the activity from the beginning of time, task information as well. If there's any tasks that you want to add, like a call follow-up or things like that, it's a good way of keeping track of this information. You'll also be able to add notes. You saw that from my previous screen. You were able to see the notes of that contact if you wanted to add it to that column to get a quick glance. You're also able to add appointments. So if you need to do a training, a demo, an onboarding call, you can quickly just add an appointment for them here. It's going to send them the invite, as well as you're going to get that confirmation on your email and on your calendar. So you can, have this person scheduled. And you can do that from here. You also have the ability to attach documents. And if you do attach documents, they just have to be in an acceptable format, but that way you keep everything in one place for your contact. If we go back to the main list, you have different actions that you can perform from here, which is, like I said, adding a contact. You can change a specific contact to a pipeline step, and we'll go through that later on in another video. You have the ability to add them in bulk quantities or one by one to a campaign or workflow. You can send bulk SMS. You can send email. You can also add tags or remove tags. You can delete contacts, send review requests. This is if you have your Google My Business account connected to your CRM, you can send contacts a review request so they can send you a review on Google. You can export contacts, import contacts, and even merge contacts. If you have multiple records, you can do that up to 10 of them. You have the ability to also search either by name or any criteria you see here, but you can also search just a specific set of customers or leads by other filters. And you can just click on more filters and look for that type of information you want to search them by. Apart from the smart list section, you also have the ability to perform bulk actions. And what this does is if you were to import a list of contacts and you did it by accident, you can always restore that action. You can also keep track of what's happening. So if you have multiple users, you can see here who added or deleted contacts. That's good for audit purposes. You can even restore contacts. If you make changes to specific contacts, you can come in here and just select it and restore that change as well. The next tab you see here is the task section. And this is where you kind of have a big overview of all the tasks you have added for different contacts. Obviously, if you have 10, 20 contacts, you can keep track of them on your smart list tab. But if you have thousands of contacts, you want to be able to just see all of your tasks in one place. And this is the section where that will be. Here's where you have the company list, and this is if you add companies under your contacts under the company section that I showed you earlier. This is to keep a consolidated list of these companies if you want to market them later on, or if you just want to keep them for reference purposes. This is where you can come and visit them. And then you have the ability to manage smart lists. Right now we only have one of them, but if you were to have different lists, this is where you would see all of them. And then you have your settings section. The settings section is just, pretty straightforward. If you want to add a custom field, you can do that here. There's different ways you can add a custom field. It can be a single line item, a multi-line item. It can be number, phone number, monetary value. It can be a radio checkbox, a date, anything you want. And what you actually do here is where you want to see that custom field. So if we go back to your contacts and we go to the smart list, you can select that custom field to be either on your main information or your general info or your additional info. And this is how the contact section works. Stay tuned for more videos.